Hey there, it's Gavin here from Rapid Funding Solutions, and I'm here with Matt Pettit, who joined us just before Christmas. You might have seen him in another video because he quickly created a big pipeline worth over $1 million. So we're in January now, 2020. Some of those deals are very close to closing. And Matt, I just wondered if you could kind of tell us a bit more about, what you're doing to get these deals in, and perhaps a bit more about the deals that we're actually working on right now.
Sure. So, basically, I have a couple of deals that are very close to uh, bringing some money in. I have a $800,000 line of credit deal on a guy who does fix and flips here in Las Vegas, and another deal that we're working on, which is a $500,000 line of credit. That actually hit a hiccup because of the reserve funds that he had were gifted to him. So we're trying to work out, I think, individual deals in the meantime to get that sorted out. And then that, ball will get rolling in a similar fashion.
So just for the guys that are kind of watching this and don't really know how real estate works, tell us what the line of credit is and how that helps the client and how you get paid out from that.
Sure. So how the line of credit works is, um, we need to start with, you got to have cash reserves, liquid cash reserves in your account to be able to get leverage on a line of credit. So basically, it's kind of like a deposit, but it's not, because you don't have to. Those funds aren't locked up by the lender, but they do need to have access to funds because they're going to need some money up front for each deal, right? So even though you have access to, say, $500,000, there still needs to be some money set aside for each deal as a down payment. So they're still putting money into each deal. They still need to have skin in the game, but they just have quicker access to each deal, right? These deals will close at a much faster rate than if they were being done individually.
Okay, that's cool. And then so what happens is when they use up that line of credit, you're essentially paid a commission.
Exactly. Yeah. Every time one of their deals gets funded, um, I will get a commission, and then when that deal gets completed, so let's say they purchase a property, they do a rehab on the property that takes 45 to 60 days or something like that. They flip that property and then put that money back into the line of credit that reestablishes that line, and just, it's kind of a constant cycle.
So it's a great way to build out consistency or consistent revenue because these guys, because they're flipping, they have to get that line paid off quickly, and then they go again, right? So as you say, every 45 to 60 days, there's another payout. And just explain to the guys roughly, I mean, 800,000. And I know this particular client, we're obviously going to look to increase that further as he starts to get more deals done. But what would you look to be getting paid out on that?
Well, I mean, let's say he has 800,000 and he buys a $300,000 house. If we're getting 1% on that, uh, we get what, $3,000 on that deal. And then uh, as soon as he, sells that property, then he can replenish those funds, buy another property. But really, he still had that $500,000 remaining, so he could purchase another property if he wanted to,
Yeah.
or a third property, however he wanted to do it.
Yeah. And what I like about these lines of credit is, as I say, they're really great for that consistency of revenue. So, you only need like 5 to 10 of those at that sort of value, and you're well past your 10K per month consistently. And you don't have to do any more work for that. That stuff's just that you're just getting paid out when these guys are using the line of credit, right?
Right, exactly. So the paperwork and everything that needs to be done on those subsequent deals are so much smoother because they already have all their documents signed. They already have all their paperwork in. All that needs to be done on these deals is they have to fill out basically property information, and then um, what am I thinking of? They need to get an inspection and appraisal done.
Appraisal. Yeah.
And then once that is completed, the funds are released.
Yeah. So pretty cool deals to do. And So one of the things that we focus on are organic methods, right? So these are methods that don't cost anything at all to get deals in or leads in, other than time invested ourselves. And it's a big thing of the program that we basically have. And I know you're obviously using these and actually even pioneering some of the methods that the community is now using. I was just wondering if you can kind of tell us, what a typical day looks like for you, and how many hours you tend to sort of spend doing this stuff to bring in the types of deals that you've got right now.
Sure. So how I schedule my day is, if I have any calls, I'll have that scheduled in my calendar, and then I'll just kind of plan my day around those calls. So today I have, 3 different calls that I have scheduled, and so those blocks of times are, locked out. And then my in between time, I will dedicate to mining emails through Facebook. And then I will spend some time looking for, individual feeds where I can maybe jump in on conversations, because it's obviously good to talk to people in real time over an email. But just because if you can make that first contact, you can get a little bit more back and forth
Yeah.
rather than waiting to see, because sometimes literally I've had some of my leads contact me 2, 3, 4 weeks after I've sent that initial email. Right. So these people keep you in mind, even if you're not getting immediate responses. So that's something important to keep in mind.
And I guess because they're investors, right? So it doesn't matter if they need you right now. At some point, they're going to need funding, and as long as you're kind of top of mind, then they will reach out to you. Why do you think that we're getting the traction that we're getting right now? Like it's one thing sending an email, but what else is it that we've got going on? Do you think that gives us that? I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. We're obviously credible at what we do, but we've got some pretty big hitters coming on board right now that have been let down by other brokers and other lenders. What do you think it is that we're doing that's working?
Ultimately, investors are looking for people that they want to work with, on a long-term basis. They want to be able to do repeat business with you. That way they don't have to, jump through these hoops every time that they get a deal, and, constantly shopping for, different rates and all this stuff. They're shopping because they're not happy with what they have right now. Right. So
Exactly.
if we can supply that to them, that's going to build our brand, and it's going to help us in the long run.
And I think that puts us in a huge position of strength, especially for any one of you guys that maybe is looking to come on board. In that, with real estate, it compounds, right? So you put that work in to get that first client on, and you do a good job and we do a good job, which we generally do. You generally keep that client for the longer term, because it's not just the one deal they're working on. They're going to come back with multiple deals through the rest of that year, and so on and so forth. So it's very easy to start building up that revenue that starts to surpass 10K, 20K a month.
That's just it. You just need to get the ball rolling, get those first few deals under your belt, and then it's, you got a free flow from there, and then you can just continue to build your business.
Exactly. So, you've been in a few months now. What are you hoping to get out of this for your future? And what are you hoping to use this program and this business for to help you in your life achieve?
Well, obviously I'm just looking for, better financial freedom, like all of us are, I think. What I like about this is that we get to work in a team, but we're not having someone, breathing over our shoulder in an office space. There's good things and bad things about working in that kind of atmosphere. But to me, I like to just be able to wake up, come into, my office at home here, and do what I need to do on my own. I'm just self-sufficient in that way.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why we're all here, right? Because we've all got that same sort of mentality. And I think that's why there's the energy in the community that there is, because, as much as there's different levels of experience, we're all like-minded, right? We're all kind of doing it for the same sort of reasons.
Yeah. I mean, we want to be independent, but still have that support.
Exactly. Okay. So last question. I know before you came on board and we even started talking, you'd kind of been a part of a few other programs and stuff. And, we all know some of the challenges that people have with these programs. But I was wondering what you would say to anyone, what advice you would give to anybody that's either looking to get into the industry right now, or perhaps is already in the industry, but maybe just struggling to get things together to kind of hit those 10K months. What sort of advice would you give them? in terms of how to get started?
Well, I mean, when you're looking for a program, obviously you want to look for a place where you're going to be supported, right? Some of the other programs that I was in really didn't have any kind of support system. They gave you some training, but it was all like online, do this, but nothing where you can like speak to someone and actually have a back and forth and learn in that type of capacity. It was a very big program, and it wasn't really very hands-on by them. And then I worked with another company after that, and it was basically their strategy was to just do cold calls, over and over, cold call, cold
That's
call,
hell.
cold call. And yeah, and I mean, there was nothing to it like that was helping me grow at all, right? And so, I mean, that was obviously a no-brainer. But
Yeah.
I can't speak for a lot of these different companies, like in an MCA type role. I haven't done that, so I don't really know. But I like what I have here, and I'm happy to make this work.
Brilliant. Thanks, Matt. I really appreciate your time.
Absolutely.